And welcome to the 26th episode of the New Podcast. Coming back to you with episode 26. Through all your fanfare, the letters, the emails, the tweets, everyone missing us, we are back. It was only a week, folks. It was only a week. But to everyone's dismay, we were gone for a full 14 days, coming back at you live at the New Studios. Big weekend of fights with Night Fight, UFC, Wichita, and we also have Fastlane to talk about this weekend. Huge news going down. Of course, we take the week off when it's probably one of the biggest news weekends and week of MMA and of the wrestling world with the return of Roman Reigns back with his leukemia in remission. I digress. Welcome back, Kelly, the producer and co-host with the most. My man, Kelly, here.
What up? I was in Mexico. It was warm, and I loved it.
Son of a gun, this man. We're getting snow, and he's getting a suntan. I tell you what.
Not much of one. Gotta use that sunscreen.
I know it.
Right under the equator, so you're getting a lot of sun.
SPF 99.
That's right. I was just shining.
Reflecting.
Blinding people as I walked by.
It was just the straight duct tape SPF. Kelly was a sight to see. Welcome back, my man. Couldn't be happier to have you back. This weekend coming up, we're going to have a lot to talk about with the UFC. Another UFC fight night coming down this weekend. We will have to have some drinks in celebratory of your return back to the homeland.
Hell yeah. Beer pong.
Hell yeah. With the Connect 4.
Yeah, the Connect 4 one.
Connect 4 pong.
Competitive Connect 4.
That's what I'm talking about.
2019 Sport of the Year.
Put your team up against our team. I guarantee you're going home crying.
Yeah. That's right. What was Angie's quote? Yeah, bitch. Nice.
Best quote of 2019 so far. Let's get to it. Talk some MMA news to start off the show. Show number 26. We hope you enjoyed show number 25. Hit us up on Twitter at @andnewpodcast. We actually got some followers somehow. I mean, to add to our many other followers. That's
somehow they keep coming. They just keep coming. I don't know why you guys love us, but we're glad you do.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks for listening. Stay tuned. There's more to come. I think the biggest news of the week, what happened 2 weeks ago has happened in the past. But we're going fresh here. What happened this week, though, I think the biggest news would have to be the retirement of Mirko Cro Cop having an untimely stroke at his age, unfortunately, and reducing him to actually say, hey, there's no way I will ever fight again. And good on him to be able to say that. Very shitty that he had that stroke. To go out like that, he had more fights left in him. One of my favorite fighters of all time, and it's official here. It's not going to be one of those, hey, I'm going out, but then I'll be right back next week. This is official, unless he gets some kind of stem cell injected into him or something like that. But Cro Cop is out. For I guess, at this age too, I think it is just time to be thankful you're alive after suffering that stroke and to be able to just live a normal life to wherever that entails for him to do in Croatia. But sad news this week of Mirko Cro Cop, a guy who was one of the toughest fighters in the world for a long time and still getting it done at his age is a very, very tough and game fighter. Hats off to you, my man. Mirko Cro Cop, love you, man. And here's for a speedy recovery. Lots of fight announcements this week coming down the pipe. I think one of my most favorite matchups that was announced this week, Alexander Volkanovski versus Jose Aldo at UFC 237. I believe that card is in Brazil. I am super excited for that. Yes, it is the Brazil card, and that card's really shaping up. They're really stacking these Brazil cards. When they go to there, there must be just such a hot ticket item in Brazil. And that would be the coolest to go watch an event in Brazil, like of UFC caliber, or any kind of MMA event. But I think just to go to the UFC event in any city, I think would be such a cool experience and such a cool feat. Something to mark on your bucket list for sure. UFC will be seeing Kelly and I reporting live from UFC 237 in Brazil. Send us the tickets. We're just waiting for those tickets to come in the mail. Shit.
We need those press passes.
Yeah,
too.
exactly. The press pass. Of course. We're professional. We're professional reporters here. Of course, nothing less. Those first 4 rows for us to report and get back all of our analysis on the UFC. I'm excited about that fight, though. I think it's a huge stepping stone for Volkanovski, and to take on such a tough guy in Jose Aldo. I got to give this to Volkanovski, though. Such a tough. He impressed me so much with his last outing, and to give him Aldo. Obviously, the UFC was also very impressed, especially for that fight to go down in Brazil. The Australian versus Jose Aldo going down. UFC 237. I cannot wait. One news I know Morgan would be with his hate of Johnny Walker he's missing out on. Johnny Walker, obviously destroyed Misha Shirkinov in, no time flat, but actually injured himself in his post-fight celebration.
Oh, no.
He messed his shoulder up doing the worm.
The worm?
Yeah. You can see, if you haven't seen it, watch the replay. He goes for one worm like belly flop, and he hurts himself. And he stops, and then he just lies down on the mat. I guess he's got to rethink the celebrations. Maybe UFC's going to have a talk with him saying, no more celebrations. You're an asset. No more of this goofiness. You're going to hurt yourself.
It's so funny how these fighters hurt themselves, man.
Oh, exactly.
It's like tripping over wires and just all kinds of weird things, man.
Slipping in the shower. Many, many, many accidental injuries. But he's got to take some tips from Otis, Heavy Machinery. That dude knows how to do a damn worm. But obviously the height differential, I think Johnny Walker probably has about 2 feet on Otis from Heavy Machinery. But still, take some tips. Another big fight announced for UFC 237. But it may be a disappointment to a lot of people, myself included, but still big names, is Kelly's favorite, Clay the Carpenter Guida. Guida. Takes on BJ the Prodigy Penn.
What?
Yeah.
It's like a legends match.
I think this counts, exactly. I think it's a good move for the UFC they must be trying to get the most they can out of BJ's current contract. When I heard that BJ Penn was fighting, I was upset. But when I heard he was fighting Clay Guida, I thought, okay, that makes sense. Two older dudes. They both kind of, BJ Penn's resurgence at 155, because he was, at 170 when he won the belt. Then he was, he started off at 155, his infamous fights against Jens Pulver back then in the early 2000s, then against Kao Uno. But then, he went to 170, then left, and then came back at 155. I think that was the kind of when Clay Guida was really big too. Kind of UFC didn't really have a 155 division when it had kind of had its resurgence after 2005. And I think BJ Penn obviously was one of the main guys to be in that division. Obviously with his trilogy against Frankie Edgar had kind of brought him to light, and then kind of bounced around from there. But I think it's actually a good matchup. I think he handily wins it. But could Clay Guida use his smothering style against Prodigy? Who do you think takes him, man?
Oh, man, I want to go with BJ. But he just has looked so bad. But, Guida hasn't looked the greatest either.
No, exactly that.
Yeah, I'm going to go with BJ.
Ooh. BJ's always been my man. I got to go with BJ Penn. But I think Clay Guida cannot be slept on. I would like to see the odds because I think it would be a betting fight to put a little. If the odds are insane, like say like a plus 400 for Clay Guida, I think you'd have to toss money his way. And if you're picking decision, I think that's a safe bet. I think that's a safe bet. Moving right along, folks. Other matchups to announce. I think it also is at 237 here. Let me pull up UFC 237 here. I gotta interject here. Where is it here? That's still a ways away too. Let's take a look here because I think that card is also headlined. I don't remember if it was announced or not. That card is announced. Let's take a look here. I think it's also Rose Namajunas will be taking on Jessica Andrade. Also, I don't know if that was ever announced. Is that just brand new announcing, or did I just not report on that one? I'm not exactly sure here. Let's take a look here. I believe it is at that same card here. Where is it here? 237. They haven't announced where it's going to be, but they are saying it is in Brazil. Yeah, that is the headliner. Rose Namajunas versus Jessica Andrade. Let's break this card down a little bit here because this thing is already getting stacked. They don't even have a venue announced yet. So we got the main event, which deservedly so. Rose Namajunas versus Jessica Andrade. Jose Aldo versus Alexander Volkanov. Anderson Silva versus Jared Cannonier. Little Nog Antonio Rogerio Nogueira versus he's taking on? Ryan Spann. And then Clay Guida versus BJ Penn. Out of all this super stacked card, who the hell is Ryan Spann? Let's take a look at this.
Looks happy to be there.
I know. He looks happy on his picture. Let's take a look. Who the hell is this guy? All right. Where is he? He's fighting out of Texas. American, obviously. Ryan the Superman Spann. Holy shit. 6'5"? Holy guacamole. He's won his first UFC fight. Also in Brazil.
He was on Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series.
Where he choked a dude out in no time flat. 26-second guillotine. That's pretty nice. Fought for LFA for a little while. Actually, weird. That's weird. He went to the Contender Series twice. He lost. He got KO'd in 15 seconds in his first. Oh, against Carl Robertson, too. Crazy. That's nuts, because I think Carl Robertson fights at a much lighter weight class. Kind of bounced around. Oh, he actually lost to Robert Drysdale, too. Super jiu-jitsu ace. Obviously got choked out by him. And LFC, was it? Yeah, that was LFC, too.
I wonder which weight class that was if he was fighting a guy at a smaller weight. I wonder if he was at 185 and moved up to 205.
Mm-hmm.
He might have been just way too skinny and, taking those losses because he has 5 wins in a row now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could see it. Yeah, that's a great point there, Kelly. Maybe the weight cut was worth hurting him because exactly that. After that loss, exactly, he goes on a streak of 5 finishes or 4 finishes in his UFC debut. Went to decision, but against a very tough dude in Oliveira. But let's see what the hell has happened to Robert Drysdale. His whole MMA career, I think he failed his piss test. If I am correct here, let's take a look here. We're going down the rabbit hole. 6 degrees of separation. Robert Drysdale, undefeated, 7-0, one of the best grapplers coming out of America, if not the entire world. He's actually older. He's 37. Too, and that was actually his last fight. Beating Ryan Spann was actually his last fight. Very weird. Oh, was it an injury? What the heck happened to him? Because he was supposed to make his UFC debut, and something happened. I can't remember what happened to him, and he never made it. Oh, it was. Yeah, he did fail his piss test. He did make his UFC against Keith Barish, but it actually was overturned. Yeah, that is what it was, and just kind of never found his way back. Hasn't fought since 2016. He's kind of a weird guy. He's I haven't really heard much of him in the grappling world as well as of recently. Maybe just kind of fall off the face of the earth. Very, very odd news. Robert Drysdale, but UFC 237, hot tamales. It's gonna be a good card. I am super excited.
2016 is around the time Dana was getting super pissed at people failing those drug tests too, and just making like cards fall apart basically.
Mm-hmm.
So he might have just like perma-banned him at that point.
I could see that. Yeah, I could see that, and just maybe the UFC brass just said, "Hey, you will never fight for us again," and maybe that's what happened. Maybe they threw a bunch of money at him, and failing that test really screwed them over. Maybe it wasn't a clause in his contract about failing piss tests. What do you don't see too many jiu-jitsu guys do it. You see the odd one, but you don't see too many of them. Still very, 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 very weird just to kind of fall off the face of the earth when you're such a grappler, and especially for combat sports, is hungry for that next star. But excited about that fight. Rose Namajunas versus Jessica Andrade for the belt in Brazil. Another huge announcement, obviously, is Alexander Gustafsson has his new opponent, and it's going to be Anthony Smith in Sweden in June 1st. That one goes down. I don't think they've really announced anything else on that one there. Yeah, it is a UFC fight night on ESPN Plus. I think it's going to be the second one. Oh no, it's going to be looks like the fourth or something like that. There's so many of these ESPN cards. I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving it. But it's hard to keep track of them. It's hard to keep track of all of them. Tough call though. I gotta say, it's the battle of the John Jones losers. Both John Jones losers going head to head in Sweden. Who do you think takes it, Kelly? Between the Mauler or Lionheart, who do you think takes it?
Oh man, it's so hard to say. I think I'm gonna go with Alexander Gustafsson just because of his skill set standing up. I think he has more technique, and he could slowly pick apart Anthony, just kind of like John Jones did.
Mm-hmm. Good call. Yeah, good call. I could see that too. Anthony Smith is just not. He's more of a scrapper.
Yeah.
Than anything, you know what I mean? He's more of the freestyle fighter type dude, not really a striker.
Like a Diaz, just beat you up.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, even not that skilled. You know what I mean? I think the Diaz's are a bit more skilled than what I've seen from Anthony Smith so far. He's just a scrappy, tough dude. And I hear you saying, I'm gonna give it just good tip the scale towards Anthony Smith because I can see his team is gonna be smart enough saying exactly that. You have no chance on the feet. 0. Mm-hmm. Go for the takedown. Takedowns all day. You know what I mean? And even though he's not a great grappler too, against a guy like Gustafsson who's terrible at the takedown defense, I think it could be. And that's obviously, in his last fight, he just got easily taken down by John Jones and then handily pounded out.
I can see that.
50-50. That's a toss-up. Don't bet on that one. If you're a betting man, do not bet on that one. I think, but it was the most breakingest news of all time. Obviously, just went down today. We are coming to you live from New Zealand. No, we're not in New Zealand, but still, was Conor McGregor just broke today, not too long ago, that he was arrested and charged with robbery, smacking some dude's phone out of his hand, and then smashing it on the ground, picking it up and putting it in his pocket. Man, oh man, dumb some kind of work visa immigrant in America, who knows what happens? And this is not his first time over here causing trouble. First a dolly, now a cell phone. What's America going to do with you, Connor? What are they going to do with you? And we will only find out tomorrow, I can guarantee. Obviously, you got just minor, it's just simple theft, but still, who knows what happens? What do you think, Kelly? What happens when the dust settles on this one?
I think he pays his way out of it, and I think his lawyer asked him nicely to quit throwing shit.
Maybe he does an anti-bullying video, something like that. Yeah. Something's gonna crack though here, and I think he's really gonna.
I think he's gonna be on his second strike.
Yeah, exactly. Second strike, exactly. He better not cause any more trouble though. But in America, they don't mess around. We'll find out. But that was I thought that was pretty crazy when they said theft. Well, what an idiot! Guy just wants to take a picture. He was obviously drunk or something. Why else would you do that? Oh, Connor, he's probably gonna owe that guy a lot of phones. He'll buy him a lifetime supply of phones. All Irish phone numbers, though. It's the only downside. That's it about MMA news. Can we get some video game news here? Switch it up here a little bit. Talk some video games. One game I am so glad I was so hyped for. If you listen to the show, I was so hyped for and so sad. And I was like, I'm gonna let the dust settle on it, and I'll get it when it's on its first discount, like the $20 off discount. And I'm glad I haven't. Anthem. Have you been reading about it, Kelly?
I have not.
It is fucking shit up. What is going on with people in making video games these motherfucking days? Seriously. First Fallout, and now Anthem. 2 games I was more hyped for than anything.
Is it just like incomplete, or is it just a shit show?
It's a shit show. It's a little bit of everything. It's slow load times. You know what I mean? It's having slow moving when you're at the base. But those are the minor things. The major things are the crashes. The game is just turning your whole system off. It's crashing so hard, it's turning your whole system off. And what is being reported, it is not only returning your systems off, it's actually destroying PlayStation 4s. PlayStation 4s are becoming unusable from the crashes are destroying the hard drive. And like this is not like it's happened for a few people. Most people are just getting like a hard restart, like where it's not even turning your Xbox into sleep mode. It's doing it like you pulled the plug out of the wall. That's what a lot of people are describing it as, is pulling the plug out of the wall. And I can see if it crashes during maybe you're saving or maybe you're doing something critical in the game and it's destroying people's PlayStations. And they kind of really haven't said anything about the whole thing.
Was there any beta testing?
There was. Yeah, there actually was. Yeah. Beta was out for a few days, and that's when I downloaded the beta and played it, and I thought it was fun. I thought it actually looked pretty good. I didn't think there was any problems at all. It was pretty streamlined. I was very, very surprised. But here we have it.
It's going to be a lawsuit. Who is that, EA?
EA.
Man, EA is gonna have to pony up a lot of money.
EA not once again missing the mark. You know, first the Battlefront screw around with the microtransactions, and now this. EA's got some splaining to do.
It's like false advertisement with them. You know, they show like the best shit, and then like I don't know what they did with the beta. Maybe they put out the best maps, ones that weren't glitchy and all that shit. Let you play those, and then when you actually bought the game, that's when you found out it was all fucked.
But how are these games doing it? The technology age we are in now, we're having more and more problems with all this technology. New cars suck. You know what I mean? Brand new cars are terrible. There's too much computer in them. And is that what we're seeing here with these games? There's too much coding in these games. Is that actually a thing?
Too much cooks in the kitchen.
Maybe that's what it is. Yeah, maybe that's what it is. And we're seeing these gaps. It's just disgusting. And I think Fallout's a perfect example of exactly that, of how games can go wrong. And we thought, that's never going to happen again. Fallout was such a lemon, such a bad apple. That's never going to happen again. Here we have Anthem.
That's why I like Respawn. They made, what was it? Titanfall 1 and 2, which are like extremely smooth, playable games. There wasn't any problems with both of them, other than they weren't that popular because Call of Duty was out and so was Battlefield, and people kind of had like their fandom with that. But they also put out Apex Legends, and it's a free game, and it's completely glitch free right now. Anyways, like as far as I've never had a problem with it. I've heard
either.
Some people say they have, but I've never had an issue with that game.
Me either. Yeah, I have you get the lag, but that's nothing to do with the game. You know what I mean? That's just playing with 99 other people online.
Yeah.
Sometimes
somebody has a bad connection to the server.
That's got nothing to do with the game. Exactly. Yeah, no, great point, man. Great point. It's just, is it in that? Is it just some kind of flaw in the engines that these big, huge companies are running, like Bethesda and like EA? Only time will tell, but somebody's got to fix this, because we're in fucking 2019. We shouldn't be having these games that are fucking unplayable. What are these people going to get a refund? I'd hate to be one of those dudes who stood in line, let alone prepaid, for a Steam version, prepaid, waited, for the 12 o'clock to hit, and paid your hard-earned money to have an absolute dump of a game to be steamed right onto your keyboard, like these 2 games we're having here. I'm just appalled with how bad Anthem is. It just maybe because I was so excited for this game, I was really looking forward to it, and now I don't even want to buy it. I don't want to get it now. I'm kind of cranky. I'm in this game limbo right now. I don't really. I got a bunch of stuff I'm kind of playing, but I'm not really in depth. Haven't really wrapped my sunk my whole life into it. Type games. I love those games. I was a huge fan of Skyrim. Was a great game like that where you could really really play a ton of it, and just be looking at the time, be like, oh my god, 2 hours have went by. That type of game. That's what you want in a video game.
I'm so old. I used to play Warcraft, not the World of Warcraft, but the actual original Warcraft, which was a strategy game.
Good game.
And that game was awesome. There was absolutely no glitches. It worked every time.
Good game.
Yeah, man.
Whatever happened to those strategy builders? Whatever happened to those?
That's what I'm waiting for too.
Yeah, those games were great games. I really missed those games. It was one of the really good ones. Check it out on Steam. And it's even an older game. It's 10 years old now. Was the Dawn of War series. Yeah. Really, really good series for that. Building bases and troops and attacking and that type of stuff. Great games.
Command and Conquer. And then there was
StarCraft.
StarCraft.
Yep. Was super, super popular.
I love StarCraft.
Yeah, but Warcraft was one of my favorites too. Warcraft 2 was absolutely really, really good game.
Yeah.
Played many a night with it. Command and Conquer was always fun. Red Alerts, all that series was great. Whatever happened to that series? I think there's that Iron Harvest keeps getting pushed back. That's going to be like that. A real-time strategy builder. Really? Yeah.
I'm glad they're pushing it back.
Yeah.
That means they're not going to put out garbage.
That's true. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It was supposed to come out earlier this year, but I think that now they push it to the end of the year. Would have been exactly that. Good point, Kelly. Don't release these turds, please. Wait till they're finished. I know it's going to take some time. Obviously, it's probably going to be money. Everything's always about money. And they've obviously spent enough time. And to have all those people doing all that work and then to have no money come in, I think that's when the accountant starts saying these things got to be pushed out one way or another. But Apex, like I said, how is Apex doing it? Exactly. Free games.
They hit 50 million players.
Holy shit. Free games, the way of the future. But speaking of free games, another battle royale, one that you would not think of, but I have become addicted overnight. Tetris 99. Have you heard of this, Kelly?
I have not.
Oh, it's crazy. It's a battle royale Tetris.
Yeah.
You go up against 99 other people.
What?
Yeah, so you're going up against 99 other people. It's so you're playing it's on the Switch, of course. It's free. And you can attack. So, when you do your Tetris, you're all 4 or 5, squares, wherever the hell it is, you can choose who you want to attack. So your screen is in the middle, okay, with all your blocks. But then you have all the other 99 people in these tiny little squares all beside you. So you can move your cursor. So your joystick moves your cursor to be able to attack people. And then your right one is to be able to do a quick move. So you can do a quick move to attack different people. And then you can just gang up on people and just finish them right off the bat. Basically, if you bunch of people, but you can't. It's all random. It's all randomized how you get in there. When your control pad does your moves, up will do your fast drop, down does your normal drop, and then your left and right trigger. You can save your piece or go to your next piece. And it's just like Tetris, but it obviously gets faster and faster, just like Tetris as well. It is tough. I gotta say myself, it's a tough nut to crack. I got fourth twice, but man, at that point, it is just so it's just so strategy wise. Like, do you go for the Tetrises to knock other people out, or do you keep your shit low the whole time? And like I said, it is flip of the coin sometimes too, because you can just get ganged up on right off the bat and it'd be over. There's no way you can live when you're just getting Tetris constantly and people are just adding shit to your blocks.
I
But
would look for the people who are low and try to add more to their.
yeah, exactly. But usually they're the good people, and you don't want them attacking you. That's the thing. And getting KOs, you get combos and different shit like that. I'm still trying to figure out I haven't really read about it too much. I don't know how the attacking really works all that much. You know what I mean? How to do these save up combos and shit like that, or how to defend against other people's combos. So it is it's different, but if you haven't checked it out, man, check it out, because Tetris 99 is something different. It's like I said, I was kind of, but it's, I'm talking about a game I can really sink my teeth into. It's a fun game for a day or two. It's Tetris, people. You know what I mean? This is Tetris. Do I want to spend hours and hours getting super, super good to play Tetris? Not really. I like the game, but it's more of a fun, I'll play for 10 minutes here. I'll play for 15 minutes here. I'm waiting for dinner. I'll play for 5 minutes here. Something like that, right? Check it out if you got the Switch. Tetris 99 is free. It's totally free. And they keep coming out with new games for the online subscription too. It's really, really cool. Kid Icarus came out, and another one. I didn't try out the other one, but I tried a little Kid Icarus. Fun. Switch is really getting it done.
What's your favorite game for the Switch right now? Why would I buy it?
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. What game I really want to get is the Zelda Breath of Wind.
Oh, okay.
That's the one I really want to get. But of course, that's the shittiest thing about Nintendo games is they don't really go on sale.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's tough to find them on sale. There's so many games I want to get. I've just been playing the Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, which is fun. It's okay. It's a bit boring. I wouldn't suggest it to somebody, especially you're not into the Pokemon series. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't suggest, because I love RPGs. That's what I'm all about. And the Pokemon's always been a good RPG for me. But it is a bit boring because it's mostly like the first game. So you don't really have a lot of the cool moves or the different types of Pokemon. It's just the first game. So all the first gen moves, which is the most disappointing part. They just don't really. It doesn't really lead much to add on. It's fun how they've integrated different things with it. But I want to play Breath of Wind. That's a game I really want to play. But man, that's one of those games that is just not going to go on sale. But they do put on sales here and there. But all the Mario games they have. But that's a great question though, Kelly. They do have a lot of cool different games. One game, they got a lot of dark titles. There's one game called Riot. And check it out if you haven't checked it out, man. It's just about you just incite different riots in different cities. That's all it is. Yeah, it's it's a little fucking fucked up. I was a little bit messed up. I was like, holy shit! Like it's like real riots, like killing police riots. That's what I know. That's what was like kind of crazy.
Nintendo.
I know. What did you do? Well, they got Wolfenstein 2 on Nintendo. That game, I was like, holy moly! That's got some really crazy scenes in it.
Yeah. Any good like exclusive multiplayer shooters on that?
Oh, they only got like Fortnite, but no actual exclusive.
Yeah.
Maybe the new Metroid, but Super Smash Bros.
Yeah, that'd be
is a ton of fun.
The Metroid would be good.
Yeah,
multiplayer.
I don't think they have it out yet, but I think they're coming out with a really good one to come up here. For this, it's still a relatively a new system too, so I think they still have some time to come before they really release their main series.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Got off on a video game tangent there. Let's talk some Night Fight. Another great episode of Night Fights. You know why? Heavyweights. Oh, it was the heavyweight episode. There was dudes that were 300 pounds. It was like 220 to 300 pounds was all these dudes, and some of them were massive. Some of these dudes were huge. But the coolest part about it, it looked like it was like the most realistic episode I had ever seen. I remember it was like the end of the first round, and there was dust up. There was so much crazy attacking going on, but it was like a total dust up, and kind of everyone had kind of paired off 2-on-2 in the corners, and it actually, to me, what looked like it would be knights fighting. I thought it really clicked with me. This episode had really done it, and they saved the best for last. Having the heavyweights is a great, whoever their producer is or whoever their director is, great move to have. This is the last episode before the main event. I was so impressed. And the first heat was honestly mayhem. It was just nuts. It was a really cool episode. They had the 100-Year War too, which was kind of more the most night time of history, really, with the French versus the British. The really cool 2-on-2 battle. And the final battle was the nuttiest. They had introduced the flail. So, but it wasn't like a flail you see like with a hook on a ball and a chain. It was more like of a threshing flail. So like people would use this to like beat grain and out of straw, but it would still really mess you up if you got hit by it, because it was just like kind of like a really big piece of wood on the end. It didn't only have just like a hinge kind of, Kelly, so it didn't really have it. It was just kind of like a, like a piece of wood on like a hinged connection to the piece of wood to the handle, and then so it wasn't super crazy, but still. This one dude, this Simon dude, man, he was a weapons master. He was a huge dude, and they never used flails. That's what I thought was really cool. They never use flails when they do this shit competitively because they're too dangerous, I guess. But this guy could really use it. This guy was so good with the flail, because you really couldn't tell what it was going to hit you. You know what I mean? Because you'd throw the whole pole, and then the flail part would just go over top of your blocking hand and just smash the dude. They were just smashing the shit out of each other. It was great. This episode had everything. Huge hits, great grappling, really good grappling, smashing blows, even in all the rounds. But mostly for heavyweights, this one episode had speed and aggression. That's what I really know. So these dudes were running around that ring like no other episode I had seen in the entire series so far, and I cannot wait for the final. There's that dude Simon. He moves on to the 7-man finale, which is great because normally all these heats are 6-man heats. Now they're gonna throw in a little bit of spice, their own little razzle dazzle on their show and have a 7-man episode. I am super excited for that. This week, it goes down. Final episode. Cannot wait. I hope they don't do what they normally do on TV and have that stupid in-between episode where they have looking at people's background, bullshit like that. Get to the fighting! Great episode of Night Fights. Check it out. History Channel, y'all. Great show. Great show. Let's talk some MMA. UFC Wichita. Fight Night 146. Lewis versus Dos Santos. Great card, actually. I really enjoyed it. The beginning was a little weird, though. I don't know. Lots of broken noses and decisions in the beginning, and the undercard was a little bit lackadaisical. Must have been something of that mess-laced tap water that they puke out in Wichita, butthole town. If you ever go through there, just keep on driving. Roll up your windows and keep on driving. No, I don't know what it was. It was crazy. Did you see that? Let's break it down here. If you saw the one fight, where was it here? Oh, yeah, Yana Kunitskaya. Did you see her nose? Oh, boy. That was disgusting. She got her nose jacked up. Ended up winning. She lost the third. Very rough. Check it out, Kelly. Search it up right now. Yana Kunitskaya. Her nose was straight just destroyed. Like straight sideways. Her eye was closed. Marion Renault, man, she really had it tough. She lost the first two rounds for sure, but came back in that strong third. Maybe caught Yana sleeping a little bit. And in MMA, you cannot sleep on anybody, and her nose will show it right there. That's a good angle. That's a good angle. They have a close up. She has it on her Instagram because it is rough. Yeah, she took one hell of a beating in that fight. Alex White wins against Dan Marat. What else do we have? Oh, Zach Otto. I thought Zach Otto was going to come out, but he got tapped out to elbows. Matt Schnell versus Louis Smolka was actually a really good fight. The triangle choke was super nice. That was a sweet-ass one.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, you see that nose. Like I said, they have a close-up of it, and it is totally destroyed. It is totally destroyed. Maurice Green makes his I think it's his second UFC fight, winning by split decision against Jeff Hughes. That was a really rough one to watch. That one really put me to sleep. It's Grant Dawson versus Julian Eros. That was a rough one to watch too. Even the Kunitskaya versus Renault fight. Like I said, the first 2 rounds were pretty slow, but then the third round really caught fire with all that beatdown. And then there was another decision: Anthony Roca Martin against Sergio Moraes. It was actually okay fight. It was okay. It was kind of like the headline of the undercard. I like it when they do that. But still, all these decisions, by the time I got to the Dariush versus Dober fight, I was falling asleep. But this fight had really, really done it up here. Man, that was a really, really good fight. They did not disappoint. They went toe-to-toe. Great high-paced match between those two dudes. Dober dominated the first, almost knocking out Dariush almost twice in the first round. But when it went to the ground, Dariush used his ground game, man, and that was one nasty kind of a arm bar triangle. Dober had no chance but to tap. Huge win, and I'm pretty sure he won the fight night bonus for that one too. Great match for him. I wasn't to go back to the Tim Bosch versus Omar Akhmedov. I wasn't terribly disappointed in Akhmedov. It wasn't the greatest fight, obviously. Tim Bosch doesn't put on super great fights anymore. He used to. He's obviously getting older in his age. But I didn't even know who this Omar Akhmedov dude is. Let's take a look here. Let's break it down. 6 degrees of separation. Omar the Wolverine Akhmedov. Let's see here. All right, so this is how many UFC fights he's got. He's actually got a decent amount of UFC fights. I don't know. I've never even heard of this dude. Let's see here. Who has he fought here? He's got a ton of UFC fights. He lost to Gunnar Nelson. Oh, that's weird. That fight was at 170. Shit, he looks like a huge 170. Beat Brian Ebersol. Beat Matt Nilsson. He lost to Sergio Moraes. He lost to Zaleski dos Santos too. Beat Kyle Noak. Beat Razak Alsan. He goes to a draw against Marvin Vittori, and then beats Tim Bosch. Another win. He's guy's on a winning up streak. I don't know how I've missed this guy. Been stuck in the background his whole career. Kind of weird. Let's see. I wonder who he fights next. 170's got one hell of a long lineup.
That's probably why.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Exactly. He's only been on the undercards. You know what I mean? That I could totally see. Brings us to Blagoy Ivanov versus Big Ben Rothwell. And it was kind of a slow fight. I think they both kind of traded a little bit. But let's just get to the decision. You know what I mean? Probably one of the worst calls by the judges, I think, in MMA history here. I don't like Big Ben. I actually hate him. He beat 2 of my favorite fighters of all time, Alistair Overeem, he kicked the shit out of, and then he actually taps out Josh Barnett, one of my other favorite guys. I don't like Big Ben, but I thought he won that fight handily. I thought it was easily 3-0. Kelly, what do you think on that one?
I actually didn't watch it. I just watched the main event on that card.
Wow, what a diss. What a slap in the face. That's how bad it was.
I was watching the John Jones fight and all that because I just got back from Mexico.
You
so
can only cram in so much MMA.
Exactly. So I just wanted to make sure.
No, you had to pick the right one.
But were there people booing at the end?
Yeah, tons of people were booing. Yeah, tons of people were booing. It was pretty crazy. You know, if you look at especially the end, Blagoy, his face was messed up. He had like a real nasty mouse underneath one of his eyes, and the other eye he had like a decently small mouse. And Rothwell's face was pretty bloodied up too, but it was more like it was just his nose was just gushing. Other than that, he looked fine. He was coming forward the whole fight, and I think as in the first round, Blagoy had just one more shot, one more punch landed, and in the second round it was even. But in the third round, it was Ben Rothwell by a mile for the most punches, and somehow the judges saw it 2-1 for Blagoy. I thought it was very, very odd.
So does Dana do the rematch?
I don't know if he wants. I don't want to see the rematch myself. I don't know if they do. I could see him maybe he'll get another chance, but still. So he always says, don't leave it in the judges' hands.
That's true.
Once again, we were saved, though. Nico Price versus Tim the Dirty Bird Means. Should have put money on Nico Price. I thought it was, it's kind of an odd stat, but he actually was a pretty big underdog. And I've had all the fights on this card to bet on. That was one of them. And I should have went with my brains on that one. But man, did we ever start with a blistering pace that rocked and wobbled Nico Price. Man, with his back against the fence, lands one of the nastiest hooks this side of the Mississippi in Wichita. And knocks out Tim Means so bad, he breaks his leg and his ankle. Wow. He got knocked out. It came out of nowhere. Damn. Like he was wobbled. I don't know how he threw the power in that punch to be able to knock him out flat, KO, and he crow-copped onto his ankle, but didn't just twist it. Broke his leg and his ankle. They have a still of it. Do not look it up. If you are the faint of heart, I can tell you that much. Because it looks terrible. Like the way he fell on his ankle is just disgusting. And he's going to be out for a long time. He'll be lucky if he can walk normally again, because there's no way that did not hurt tremendously. That brings us to the co-main event of the evening. Zaleski Dos Santos versus Curtis Millender. I thought it was kind of weird out by why this one was getting such hype until I saw Zaleski Dos Santos' game. He's a well-rounded MMA fighter, especially at 170. But let's take a look at Curtis Millender. I have no clue who this dude is. Let's take a look. Break it down. 6 degrees of separation. He actually was on a fucking tear before that. From fighting out of California, San Bernardino, California. He's Courteous Millender. Rough nickname. Courteous.
Too big for 170.
Yeah, 6'3". And he totally got out-wrestled in this match. I think that's what he just had no answer for the ground game of Zaleski.
Your jiu-jitsu game better be sick if you're going to be that skinny.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It was not. He beat Sierra Badaharaza and Max Griffin, Thiago Alves. That's not really saying much to beat Thiago Alves at this year, but it was, when was it? 2018. He actually fought a ton in 2018. Beat Nick Barnes. I can see why. This dude was just beating up everybody, especially in LFA. He was just tearing dudes up.
Lots of KOs and decisions.
Yeah. Lots of KOs, yeah. This guy, he had some really good. He lost to Brendan Ward. Oh, yeah, she did fight in Bellator. Yeah, she didn't have very good. He went 1-2 in Bellator. Hot tamales. Bellator cast-off to come back to the UFC, find a place in the UFC. Get a good run going, but then ultimately run into a very tough in Zaleski Dos Santos. Great ground game and a statement win by Zaleski. Let's break it down and see how this guy's been doing. 6 degrees of separation. Zaleski Capora Dos Santos. He's on one hell of a tear too. Holy moly. He lost his debut, and it was split decision too, against Nick Dalby. Then just wins every fight. How is this guy not getting more play? 170. He's on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fight win streak. He also beat Matt Griffin. Goes to split decision against Lyman Good. Very tough dude. Kita Nakamura, he wins by decision. Beat Sean Strickland. That's a very tough dude. And he actually KO'd Sean Strickland. Beat Luigi Vandamari. And big notch in his belt. And Curtis Millender. Huge win. See what he's going to get. Capora, what is he going to get next for his next fight? That brings us to the main event of the evening. Junior Chicano Dos Santos versus Derek My Balls is Hot Lewis.
You hear him talking about how all these people are wearing those shirts that says My Balls is Hot.
Good on him. I want one of those shirts.
Oh man, that's amazing.
If you get like a Nike one of it. My balls is hot, and then the swoosh at the bottom. Oh, man. No, I thought it was hilarious. And there's even, it was Paul Felder. He's like, can I say it? He's like, go ahead, John. He's like, of course you can say it.
Derek did?
Exactly. Oh, shit. Great fight, though. Great fight. Derek Lewis putting that lifetime supply of Popeyes to good use, just weighing in at exactly 265 and a half. Like, that's not, he's not the tallest dude. He looked a little chubbier this time out. I can't blame him. That's what I'm saying. I'd be going to Popeyes all day, every day. First round, both guys exchanged. Really, really good fight. I love that how Dos Santos tagged him and he kind of keels over, but Derek Lewis is one of those dudes. He's almost like a wounded animal. When he gets hurt, that's when he really throws his heat. And then he clocked Dos Santos, and Dos Santos really kind of didn't have his legs underneath him for a second there, but regained his composure and got back up. And I think that's what we've been seeing from Dos Santos in his smarter days now, is this smart I He's not going at it for the slugfest. He's going to go and pick and choose when he wants to slug with you. And I think this is his third win in a row against very tough dudes. He's got to get a title contender shot or a title shot, period, just for that. But that kick, man, it landed right in the Popeyes. Oof, that spinning back kick, perfectly timed. You know what I mean? But it was just crazy. He goes for the attack, and that's when Lewis struck really hard, and Dos Santos again had to think, okay, I'm in a fight here. I can't sleep on this guy, and deservedly so. You don't want to sleep on the Black Beast, Derek Lewis, and it was just too much for him though. Hats off to Derek Lewis though, but that beatdown, that was a hard beatdown he took from Junior Dos Santos. But my hat goes off to Derek Lewis for being able to take that fight, and he didn't look terrible. He got finished, and that's what happens at heavyweight. At least he didn't look terrible in a bad decision. But I think he really put up a good fight. And I think Derek Lewis is going to be around for a long, long time to come, especially at heavyweight when they need the blood. And Derek Lewis is perfect.
I'd watch him fight anybody.
Me too. I totally agree. Me too. And I think that's what everyone loves about Derek Lewis is he's actually he's got a great chance to win any fight he is in. I think he was a slight underdog. It was pretty evenly matched on the betting odds. But I can't wait to see him fight again. Anybody. I'll see him fight Clay Guida. Oh, shit.
Can Guida wear him down, chasing him around the ring?
We got U.S. You're not going to get the takedown. This weekend we have a big card coming up. UFC 147 coming to you live from the O2 Arena in London. They're giving Darren Till another homestead fight, as they always do. But they are obviously mega popular in the UK. And this actually card is quite stacked when it comes to UK fighters. Leon Edwards against Gunnar Nelson. Dominic Reyes, I think, is going to be huge against Volkan Ozdemir. There was another one on this one, too. What the heck was it? Oh, Joseph Duffy's making his return. There was another one as well. Is it that low on the undercard? It's kind of weird they don't have many women fighters coming out of the UK. You'd think there'd be a lot more. They do so well in the Olympics. There's no really great woman fighter from the UK. Kind of weird. Breaking it down, we'll have our rundown for that card. We'll enjoying many a drink and many a game as well. Tons of food down at the party house, breaking down the UFC 147. One day we will do a live simulcast, and I think it will be very enjoyable. What time are we at here? All right, let's take a quick little breather here, folks. We'll be right back after these brief messages. When traveling abroad, be sure not to drink the water. It will fuck up your system. If you like diarrhea, drink the water in Mexico.
Oh yeah, I had to bring bottles with me. We did go to this restaurant called Pepe's.
Oh, cool.
And they were pretty good. It was like authentic Mexican, but it was like cooked for like people who can't handle that shit.
Yeah, nice. No, I'm sure it'd be like a touristy thing too, right?
Yeah, exactly.
No. Good move. Good move.
Water. Don't drink it at Mexico.
Or Flint, Michigan.
Even the people who live in Flint, Michigan shouldn't drink the water in Flint, Michigan. Even they can't handle that shit.
Exactly.
Unless you're a combustion engine.
No Dukerol is going to save you from that.
No antacid will work.
Did you take any Dukerol?
I did not. I don't even know what that is.
It's like something to prepare your stomach.
Oh, okay.
For the water.
The Dukerol. It's for water.
Having trouble going poo? Try water. It'll clear that shit right up. God dang it, I've been backed up for days. Now, how do you got anything for me to take? Try water. Right from the tap. Drinking water will help you go poo. Always be sure to stay hydrated in order to take a dump. From the water company. Whoa! That was a great dump. Thank you, water.
Oh, shit. Literally.
And welcome back, folks. Hope you enjoyed our commercials. And go get yourself a tall, cold glass of water on the house. Before I get into my wrestling review here, I want to talk about my wrestling take. And it's about wrestling this week. I kind of was just thinking, where is wrestling going? We got so much stuff looming on the horizon here. This is kind of like my wrestling state of the nation, and we're just with everything. The Fox deal, Kelly. Wrestling is going to be moving to Fox. SmackDown going to be moving to Fox because in the States it's just on the USA Network. Up here in Canada, we got on Sportsnet. We got a bunch of sports channels up here, but we get basically it's dominated by two, TSN and Sportsnet, and where you have ESPN down there, and I'm sure TNT's got their shit, and different shit's got their shit as well. But up here, we have a ton of channels from those two providers, and wrestling is just on one of them every week, But in the States, it's got only on USA channel, which I don't even know what the hell that is. I don't know what channel that is on your. It's like CBC or CTV, like we got up here. I don't know. I don't really know. But it is going to be moving to Fox, just SmackDown. What effect is that going to have on wrestling as a whole? Apparently, the Fox people want an edgier wrestling. They want it to be more the married with children of wrestling. Maybe you see a little bit more of the Attitude Era with this, and who knows? With AEW being the only person to weed through the fog of the number 2 organization in the world, really making waves with all their signings, and their stealing of, not really stealing, but offering enough lucrative deals to these people to want to leave the WWE. Most notably, my men's, the club, saying they've just turned down $1 million offer each. Each were offered $1 million. I said, no, I'm going to go to AEW. They must be offering them something way, way more. They're not getting enough play, and I don't think they're being used properly. I like the club a lot, but on their own, I think they need to be part of a team, like with AJ Styles. And they're not in that position. They're regulated to the dark matches, and I don't like it. I think they're a great tag team. Great tag team. They got some great moves. But I think the one biggest point with a bullet, an arrow, an axe, whatever you're going to throw at this target, will be women wrestling, towing the line. The girls are going to get it done, and they're doing it right now, and I think that's what we're going to see. Come the next era is the women really being the headliners, being the showstoppers, and we're seeing that with Becky Lynch. We're seeing that with Charlotte. It's so stacked right now, there's no room for Asuka, and she's the champion. And all the women coming up from NXT, the lineup is just getting so deep and crazy that all the legends want to come back. I'll get into a little bit more of that, but I'm just so curious and so fascinated with where wrestling goes from here. And I think there's so much factors in play right now with those three right there, with the Fox deal, with AEW, and with just how popular and how enjoyable it is to watch women's wrestling right now. The sky is the limit. I say that all the time on the show, but it really is. The sky's the limit when it comes to wrestling. We're in such a golden age right now, and we have the WWE and Vince McMahon to thank for that. Wrestling has never been better than it is right now. The Attitude Era was pretty damn good. Obviously, with The Rock, with Stone Cold, with DX, and the Monday Night Wars and stuff like that. Wrestling was great. But right now, for a show that has been standing on its own to push the envelope time and time again, we see the WWE head and shoulders, the Empire State Building, where the next event is right at the bottom. It's not even on the sidewalk. It's below the sidewalk. Can't even hold a candle to it. We see with the WWE. Super excited. See where it goes from there. Let's talk some Raw. Great to see the big dog back. I was never really the biggest fan of Roman Reigns, but it's a feel-good story to beat leukemia, come back, have him on Raw again. It's going to be him running the show for every time. People just love him, obviously. Everyone's a huge fan of him. But I'm not a fan of the Shield reunion. The team has broken up and gotten back together more times than a white trash couple on Facebook. I can tell you that much. It's just a bit too much for me. Who's going to stab who in the back? I think this is obviously the final run with Dean Ambrose leaving. I think we're going to see the official end to it. And I'm tired of seeing it, to tell you the truth. I'm tired of the Shield. I'm tired of the breakups. It just doesn't work for me. Getting back together when it's like nothing happened at all. Did we forget Dean Ambrose beat the crap out of him, was the lackey for the Authority? That was a great move. And they've always just forgotten about that. Forgot about the Dean Ambrose attack. It doesn't work for me anymore. It doesn't work for me. Big Show thinks it's played out. The creation of the huge heel team is so good. Man, is it ever good? Having them up against the Shield is such a great heel move for them. Who's going to be more hated than a team to go up against the Shield? And it would be Bobby Lashley, Drew McIntyre, and Baron Corbin. But it was crazy. You've seen Braun Strowman before, Kelly. He's just like this. He's probably the biggest beef they have on the roster right now. Dude's 350 pounds. He's like 6'7". He's just gigantic, and he runs around. He probably outrun me in a race. And yeah, he's huge. He's
like a football player, linebacker.
Yeah, basically, yeah. He's like a strong man. He was like a strong man. That's what he had done before. And Leo Rush is smaller than me. Leo Rush is little. He's like 160, like with everything on, like 160 with all his clothes on and soaking wet. And Braun Strowman does this thing where he runs around the ring, just like clobbering people, like body checking them, and he laid out. I can't remember who moved out of the way. I think it was Bobby Lashley moved out of the way, and Leo Rush took all of his weight, bashed through the barricade. Obviously, it was all set up, but there's no way that didn't hurt. It'd be impossible to get crushed how he did. It was almost like a blindside crush, too, by Braun into the barricade, and like to smash through the barricade. Huge. He got just destroyed. Oh, man, hilarious. Triple H versus Batista makes so much sense for WrestleMania. It's just a super. They kind of teased a little bit of it, obviously, throughout this episode. Makes so much sense for this for to move forward on that. Great move. It's gonna sell out huge. Of course, they dropped the charges on Becky Lynch and lift her suspension for her to be able to face Charlotte at Fastlane. Great match that went down last night. And to say that Ronda Rousey has vacated the title, but as we found out later on, that was not true. It was a great tag team elimination match. They're putting a lot of weight behind heavy machinery, pardon the pun. They're really, the Raw tag team division is terrible. But to really, I didn't really like Heavy Machinery in NXT. I didn't think they were that great, but I actually am enjoying them on the Raw. I really am. They got some great moves. They actually have some good chemistry. The crowd isn't reacting to them all that great, though. I think that's one of the things. The crowd really isn't reacting with that way. I think the way obviously they want in the back, and I think that could be a problem. That could definitely be a problem. Elias does it again. He's so good. They had him MC Fastlane. I just cannot believe it. But when he was just ragging on Philadelphia, it's just too easy. He gets to make fun of Philadelphia, and then he gets to make fun of Cleveland. It's so good, man. But the best line from the Raw or the Philadelphia show was for him to say that every mom in Philly looks like Gritty. I could not believe that. Gritty is like a mascot. It's like this huge googly-eyed mascot, Kelly. And he's just called everyone's mom this mascot. You know, like, who can get away with that? Who gets away with that? And he turned it into a song. I posted it on our Facebook page. Super funny. Elias killing it. Who is not killing it? Revival. So hurting. They get the Jobbers entrance and still, you know what I mean, they get so lucky, you know what I mean, to have the interference in the match. Aleister Black and Ricochet, kind of a weird pairing for tagged. I never thought these two dudes would be tagged together, but I guess they're just trying to infiltrate them into Raw and to SmackDown both, so they got to make them a tag team, because to have both dudes kind of running their own storylines right now doesn't really work. When you're in a tag team, the storylines don't really last as long. They kind of come and go. Revival sucks. Someone needs to tell Ronda her Mad Walk is not working. And it's kind of weird. They just gave her the title back. She said, hey, I want my title back. And they said, here you go. I thought that was kind of a bit lazy on the writing part. Kind of weird. Having Ronda turn on the crowd, I thought was a bit early. And honestly, the crowd didn't really seem all that interested. Usually when someone makes fun of the crowd or turns on the crowd, the boos are deafening. For example, is Elias. When he's making fun of the crowd or telling them to shut up, the boos are chorused throughout the stadium. Ronda, it just seemed like everyone was kind of disinterested. No one really believed it. No one really believed the Ronda when she turned on the crowd. She's obviously mad. But it is kind of weird. Ronda went on later on in social media to kind of smack talk Becky, and I just don't think it's working. She said, wrestling's fake, you're fake, everything's scripted. For her to come out and kind of say that, a lot of people are liking the move. I think it's terrible. Something called kayfabe, and she broke it harsh right there. I'm just not liking it. To have a person who is going to wrestle, but then to actually call it all fake and to say it's all scripted, I didn't like that move one bit. I hope she ran that past the WWE beforehand, or she really leaving and she's just going to say, fuck it, I don't care, I'm going to be leaving anyways. I thought it was a weird move. She doesn't like being booed. I think that's the thing. She doesn't like being the heel, and going up against Becky Lynch, everyone hates you if you're going up against Becky Lynch. Let's talk some SmackDown. So glad Kevin Owens is back, to the unfortunateness of Kofi Kingston losing his title shot at Fastlane. They just introduced Kevin Owens coming back. I'm a huge Kevin Owens fan. Obviously, he's Canadian and a great wrestler. I love his moveset. Just a cool, different guy. I really enjoy Kevin Owens a ton. He had actually good pop. He had a good pop. He's a little weird in real life, but his talent is just too good to throw away. And I think that's he gets in his own head. That's the problem. He's such a perfectionist with his matches that if he has a bad match, he lets it stew for months. And I think that's what we saw obviously at his WrestleMania match a few years back. But coming from the stunner, going to the stunner from the pop-up powerbomb, I thought that was a bit odd. They're so blatantly wanting these Stone Cold types. They're actually giving Kevin Owens the Stone Cold stunner, which I thought was a bit weird. The Usos finally have the crowd behind them. Good for them. I think they were kind of at that stage where they were going to become non-existence again, but I think the crowd is actually finally behind the Uso Penitentiary, and I think we really heard here as well. It could be maybe just the Philly crowd loves their odds and ends, and I think that's what we saw here. The comedy relief of R-Truth is such a breath of fresh air. Open challenge, fatal 4-way was awesome. And it really stole the show. It really stole the show for SmackDown, so much so they redid it for Fastlane. It was a great match for Fastlane, too. Huge win for Samoa Joe, finally winning some gold in his WWE tenure. And I think he's a great fit for the United States champ. R-Truth is good. At least R-Truth can say, hey, I won the United States championship, held on to it for a few weeks, but it really deserves to be with Samoa Joe. And I think it's good to give Samoa Joe a belt. Even though it is a lower level belt, he still has one. And that's at the end of the day, he can hang his head high on that one. It's crazy how to talk about Raw's tag team division. The SmackDown tag team division is head and shoulders amazing, and they just keep pairing all these great teams together. And it's just a list of great fighter after great wrestler here, with like the Bar, obviously New Day, and if it's going to be the same, if we're going to see Aleister Black and Ricochet stick, I think it will be a SmackDown. Good to see Mustafa Ali's return from his injury. Man, did he ever miss out on a ton of shit. But good to see him come back. And that's why I kind of touched base on it before with all the Ronda Rousey and Becky Lynch talk. And Charlotte, Asuka gets totally lost in the mix. Asuka was a major, major draw. She headlined WrestleMania. She didn't headline it, but she main evented. Didn't main event it, but she was on fighting for the belt at WrestleMania last year. Winner of the Royal Rumble. And here now she's just kind of fallen to the wayside. She's been, to be a champion and to be regulated to almost the dark matches. Is she injured or something? What's going on with that? Before we get into Fastlane here, let's talk some wrestling news. Obviously, the biggest news this week was the passing of King Kong Bundy. Super sad. I remember watching him in the CCWF wrestling down out of Texas. King Kong Bundy was actually a really, really good wrestler. One of the first toys I had was King Kong Bundy of the wrestling toys. He even had those big rubberized wrestler toys, which were great action figures back in the day. Maybe I'm dating myself a little bit with that, but those were great toys. And King Kong Bundy was one of my favorites. You got more bang for your buck with King Kong Bundy because he was so big. The toy was huge too. Crazy news about Arn Anderson's release it's all been revealed. Why Arn Anderson was let go from the company is because he let Alicia Fox perform drunk. She shows up drunk, and it's this day and age, anyone who shows up even a little bit inebriated, I think the wellness policy is you can't even drink 24 hours before a match. And here Alicia Fox shows up to an event, a live event, drunk, and Arn Anderson lets her go on. That's what's even worse about it. So Arn Anderson's fired, and Alicia Fox hasn't been seen since. She hasn't been allowed back on stage since that incident went down. I think she's on shaky water, and I think she could be finding her way out. Maybe AEW will come calling, but I think she's got to get her demons in check, or else she's going to be, she's not going to have a very lucrative future. Shitty news is Alexa Bliss injured once again. They aren't really reporting what it is this time. The rumor is it's her shoulder. Super shitty news if Alexa Bliss has to miss WrestleMania again. I would be super devastated. Hopefully she can get healthy for WrestleMania. Talking about the Hall of Fame. It's that time of the year with WrestleMania right around the corner. We got the Hall of Fame inductees. Tori Wilson getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. That's a great one. But one I love is Harlem Heat. Can you dig that, sucker? Super excited about Harlem Heat getting one of my favorite tag teams of all time. Top 5. No shit, you best tag teams of all time. Harlem Heat. Great tag team. Stevie Ray and Booker T. But one of the biggest headlines this week in the wrestling world, good old JR signing a huge deal to commentate for AEW. Very smart move for AEW. If you want to have people to actually pay for your shows with the commentating genius of good old JR at the helm, who joins him is endless, but the list could go on. I'm sure there's gonna be a lineup around the block with who wants to be the comic relief to good old JR. and it's a huge move for AEW. Briefly, let's break down some Fastlane. You know what I mean? It's always a Raw on a Sunday, but it was actually a pretty good event. I'll give him that. This Fastlane was actually pretty darn good. I can't complain about it at all, really. I did really enjoy it. Had a great time watching it. I didn't see Shane McMahon attacking The Miz. That was kind of crazy. I thought it would be the opposite. I thought that it would be The Miz attacking Shane McMahon. But we saw the exact opposite of that, and even attacking Miz's dad, too. It was, I guess he's going to be, they're really moving to this nasty authority again, and I like that move. Having the authority has always been good for the WWE. So what's good for business? Dastardly move for Vince to trick Kofi Kingston into a total beatdown. So, Kofi Kingston loses his title opportunity, and then he's like, so he goes to his office, and they're like, he needs a chance. It's been 11 years. He needs a chance. He's like, and Vince is like, all right, you got your chance. It's gonna be a triple threat match, and the match starts right now. You got to get out there. But he tricked him. It wasn't for the title. He just got the shit kicked down by the Bar. It was a handicap match against the Bar. When they didn't have it was 2-on-1 the whole time, and New Day was barred from the ring, and they obviously just got totally destroyed for 5 minutes. His buddies Xavier Woods and Big E come down to save him, but Rusev and Nakamura come down and attack him. Maybe we're going to see an evil team on SmackDown too, with the Bar and Rusev and Nakamura. I think I would like that stable. I think it'd be pretty good. Sad move for him. But I got to touch base. Having Elias as the MC, just ripping into Cleveland time and time again. The material writes itself. Cleveland sucks. And just how terrible they are at sports. All their, all the shit about the Browns, how terrible the Browns are. It's just so easy it works. But to have a song about it,
Cleveland rocks. Drew Carey told me.
It writes itself. A great segment to have. He just like emceeing it. He wasn't even wrestling, Kelly. He just came in, did a song, had some wrestling. He had another song, had some wrestling, and then had another song, had some. I was just amazed.
Oh, I remember watching that guy sing. Okay.
Yeah, with the guitar. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that, like a bit of that too.
His crowd reaction is amazing. That's what I'm saying. His crowd reaction is amazing. That's what really makes wrestling. Just to rip on I'd love him to come to Vancouver and just rip on Vancouver. I think it'd be absolutely hilarious. I would piss myself laughing. Why they had to let the Revival win again, I will never know. It actually wasn't a terrible match, but come on. I don't want to talk about it. Morgan's not even here to argue with me here. Revival stinks.
Revival's awesome. I don't know what you're talking about. They have the charisma. They have the moves. I love it all.
Shut up. Oh, you're hilarious, Kelly. Could this be return of Beth Phoenix be returning with her getting attacked by Nia Jax and then having Natty come down and save her? I could see it having something to do with it, and I think it's a good move. That's what I'm saying. The women's division is so strong right now that Beth Phoenix is even going to come out of retirement, and I think it's a great move. Great timing for it, and if she has a tag team match, becomes a tag team with Natalya, and they win the women tag belts, maybe that's why they're doing it. Who knows? Easy to come back as a tag team, obviously, than a singles wrestler. And another slap in the face to add Mustafa Ali to the title match. So it was Kevin Owens, Mustafa Ali against Daniel Bryan, the new Daniel Bryan, for the heavyweight championship belt, for the WWE championship belt. I thought it was great. Great move. Great match, of course, with him. Most of the time they were just attacking Daniel Bryan, and Daniel Bryan gets the win. I thought there was a second. They actually had me believing. I thought there was a second that Kevin Owens was going to go to WrestleMania as the heavyweight champ, but that is not true. Daniel Bryan will be moving on to WrestleMania as the champ, barring any craziness on Raw or anything like that. I thought it was pretty anticlimactic to have Ronda Rousey interfere with Becky Lynch's match and have her go into the. I thought it was kind of a sloppy ending.
Walk through.
What's that?
I just saw that, like, she just kind of walked
Yeah.
through, like, stink-eyed.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It was kind of anticlimactic, and I thought it was kind of that was an easy move
Yeah.
to do. You know, Becky is, she's in the match hurt, and, she doesn't have a chance in hell of winning because she's on one leg. But I just thought it was a bit cheap, but it's Fastlane. So, it's Fastlane. I got to keep my standards low when it comes to Fastlane.
Keep on moving in the Fastlane.
Exactly. Don't even worry about this pay-per-view. Keep on. Fast forward through this pay-per-view. But all in all, it was a good event. It ran really long, though. That's what was crazy. The event ran super long. The Shield versus, that gotta come up with a good name for that evil trio there with McIntyre, Bobby Lashley, and Corbin. I gotta come up with a good name for him, but I'll think about it on the future show. But it wasn't a great match. It was okay. It was kind of the last match for the Revival is what they're saying it is. Maybe Dean Ambrose is being punished so hard they aren't going to let him go to WrestleMania, and maybe that's what we are seeing here, because they had one hell of a hug at the end, and people were chanting for them and shit like that. But maybe they're just saying that to build up them to come back for one last match at WrestleMania, and they could have a good matchup against this evil trio, and I think it'd actually be a good match, Survivor Series style. I'm excited to see the Andre the Giant battle Rumble. I think that'll be a good match too. But super excited. We'll have it in weeks to break down, or WrestleMania breakdown, and be very, very excited to watch that. I cannot wait for WrestleMania to come down the pipe. What a week that was. Breaking it down for you all. The world of MMA and the world of UFC coming at you. I did record Glory Kickboxing. I caught bits and pieces of it. Kickboxing sure ain't what she used to be, I tell you what. It just wasn't that great of a card. The welterweight match was pretty good. I really never got into it. There wasn't anything worth reporting on, to tell you the truth. That's how kind of shitty it was. That I really wasn't that impressed. Good week. Glad to have you back, Kelly, my man.
Thanks,
Glad to
man.
have you back, yeah, man. But you got anything on top of your head you want to talk about?
Not really. I'd like to get out on a scooter again, the old Ruckus, but it's been pretty damn cold, and I just got back from a hot place, so it feels even colder.
I know.
So I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna keep it inside for a bit until I acclimate again.
I know, eh? Hopefully we get a shift down here in beautiful British Columbia. We don't really get cold winters, and this year we surely did. Long and cold.
Yeah, hopefully it's a long and hot summer.
Long and hard summer.
Hard summer.
Coming at you live here, folks. We're live! Yeah, I'm just excited about what new video game am I going to get. Hit me up on Twitter, folks. Hit me up on Twitter, y'all, with what game I should get, what game you're loving. Actually, Astroneer. I was actually going to wait till it gets on sale. Check that out if you haven't checked out the trailer for that. That actually looks really, really cool. You go to different planets and mine different shit and like build different. So you mine stuff and then build stuff with the shit you mined. You know what I mean? And be upgrade to really, really cool vehicles and stuff like that. And it seems like a very, very interesting. I wanted to maybe try out the Subnautica, the new Subnautica coming out. I loved the first one. I just thought it was a bit too glitchy for me. Come the end, when you're getting into real serious shit and the game glitches out on you, it's very, very annoying. Scary game, you know what I mean? If you like those little, like that shock horror, that's a game for you. Fucking just crazy ass killing deep sea creatures come out of nowhere at you. It's pretty get the hair on your neck stand up. That's for damn sure. What video game should I get next? UFC 147. 147. Knocking on a door. What time are we at? We're at a good time here. We had a great week. Not a whole heck of a lot to talk about. Just glad to be back in the saddle. Show number 26. 27 coming at you. We'll have to do it. Hit us up on Twitter if you want us to do a live simulcast show what do they call it? Like a soft pod? What the hell do they call it?
Yeah. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I'd definitely stream live.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun just to, maybe just the yahoos in the background. I think that'd be the hardest part.
Yeah.
But maybe that would add. Maybe that would be the best. Who knows? Alrighty. Well, for producer extraordinaire Kelly, my name is Steven, and you've been listening to the New Podcast, signing off.